Hello, my name is Becky Kiefer, and I'm the director at the Health and Wellness Center at St. John Fisher College. I'm also a very proud 96 alum of the college, and I'm very pleased to be talking with you today as the Insta expert. I'm sitting in front of a bookcase, as most experts do these days. I'm hoping to speak with you about a topic that's really certainly very close to where I practice and live, and an important topic to me, which is the topic of mental health and mental wellness, more importantly. Especially in this time of COVID-19 and everything we're dealing with on a daily basis. We all know that we've been in this situation now for a couple of months, and everybody's experiencing this pandemic very differently. Some people are taking the time to really maybe be very productive, to do things in their home, to really get to projects, to spend time with family, to be very highly productive and do all these wonderful things. Some people are very impacted by loss and loss of loved ones and loss of normalcy, and maybe struggle a little bit more with being productive and really finding their structure in these times where really much of the structure is away from a lot of us and what we're used to doing, our routine. And I think it's a very important thing to acknowledge that everyone is going to continue to experience this time very differently. The most important thing that I think is a frame for this is to recognize that people may deal very differently with the situation based on what they're experiencing, and that's really okay. And you know, to be able to just kind of accept where you're coming from and how you're dealing with it and how you're approaching it, and really focusing on that in this time to the best of your ability. It's so important in this time to talk about the loss of our regular routines and our normal life. We're all used to probably very busy lives, very active, doing things, going places, seeing people, you know. We're very busy in our society as a whole, so this could feel very abnormal or unusual for people to maybe not be so busy or be kind of confined. That feeling of being confined is can be very challenging for people. So, you know, recognition of how anyone individually is coping or dealing with this is important, but there's also this discussion that I think is important to raise around this idea known as collective grief. Collective grief really speaks to the notion that, you know, we're all really experiencing the loss of probably something in our lives. Something that can be very, very impactful if it's the loss of a loved one through death, illness, through going through this and experiencing more directly the impact. If it's the loss of something we were looking forward to, our graduation, you know, an event, something that we really wanted to partake in that we cannot. And that is very challenging for all of us, but really we want to think about that in the grieving process, that we have lost something. We've lost our ability to live as we had lived. And that's an important thing to recognize. And honor and process and allowing people to do that, whether it's through talking about it, using social media, through using supports. It's very important to recognize that that's a part of this process for all of us. I also want to recognize in this time and talk about the changeability of how we all might be feeling. So, you know, one day we could maybe feel highly productive and motivated. Next day it might be different. We might feel less motivated and maybe even down. And there's some expectation around that people may experience those feelings, those changeable feelings. So, you know, just to kind of message out that there's some normal responses to this, as abnormal as this time is, that, you know, we all want to be thinking about our mental health and wellness well beyond this time, and continue to think about that if maybe right now you're not impacted, you know, and we come out of this and it's months later and maybe you're feeling afraid or fearful, or you're not sure how to kind of return to whatever normalcy might look like for us, really keep your mental health and wellness in mind. Utilize the people in your life. Reach out for supports, more formal supports if you need that. There are plenty of providers that are providing care through telehealth, through telecounseling, that's continuing, and to really recognize that we're all dealing with this crisis very differently, and one really collective way we can come together is to recognize that and respect others and however they're coping and however you're coping. So enjoy your day, and thank you for letting me be a part of the Insta Expert Series.